Welcome to Danu on Fire. Once again, we have come all the way to Fire Beach because we just wanted to set ourselves on fire. It's pretty warm. We are just waiting for the beautiful sunset. I have with me Nivedita, who has come all the way from India. She was brought here for the wedding show that took place at the Golf Face Hotel, which was put together by the Brides of Sri Lanka magazine. So I'm super happy that she was here. She showcased a stunning piece. I looked like a pauper, so I stood at the end and watched the show and I ran away. But it was spectacular. So much of glitz and glamour. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me here.
Just off the record, I didn't know her at the start. We just started to talk and we just had this instant connection. And
Absolutely.
And I was like, wow, my God, she's my kind of a person. Yeah, so I'm so happy. So, Nivedita, you have done some amazing work. What took you into fashion? Because you're catering to the Sri Lankan audience, they don't know all of that. No. So you start from the very beginning.
So I've always been an artist at heart.
Right.
Kathak dancer for 17, 18 years.
Kathak dance,
Yes.
my
Yes,
God.
yes. And then painter and artist, and I always wanted to be in fashion. So I started prepping because my parents said my mum's a homeopathic doctor, highly honored. My dad's a marine engineer, traveled all the world. And they
Hard
said
shoes to fill.
no, and then they said if you want to become a fashion designer,
Be
you
the best
bloody
at it.
well. No, you bloody well carve your own path. We are
Right.
not going to put in a word anywhere.
Right.
And I only wanted to go to NIFT and FIT.
Okay.
So I started working and working and working and working. Finally, yes, got through, topped my class, worked as head designer for Arvind brands, for
Oh, wow.
Arrow, Lee, Wrangler, Flying Machine. That gave me a lot of corporate experience. I feel like it became sort of the grounding, sort of technical experience of my career. Making decisions for 50,000 shirts at a time, where I was only 19,
Yeah.
and the HR manager said, "Thank God it's legal to hire you." So I was their head designer for 2 years, and then I started my own label after moving back to Pune, before which
Okay.
I was in Bangalore.
Right. Oh, I love Bangalore.
Yeah, what a beautiful city. So I started with one tailoring machine, one tailor, and 4,000 Indian rupees. And that was the humble
That's
beginning.
a lot here, actually.
At the beginning of my career, and I was working from a room. I was my own delivery boy, and I was my own sweeper, and my
Yeah.
own
Water,
cutter, and my own
everything.
everything, my own accountant.
Yeah.
And of course, then one person to the team at a time. And then I requested my mum, can I set up a little rack in your house, because I can't call people to this dingy room of mine. Will you give me a little space in your living room? And she said, okay. Biggest mistake of her life.
You just took over the table.
Yeah. From that one rack, I went to like 2 racks and 3 racks, and then the basement and the outside, and my granny's room as trial room. And after the next 4 years, all my aunties came for lunch and said, if you don't kick your daughter out of this place right now, there's going to be sequins in the chapatis. So I got kicked out of home. And then we got our first factory
Yeah.
and our first store in Pune city. And then I obviously came to Mumbai, because that's capital of fashion,
True.
Delhi and Mumbai. And then we showcased at London Fashion Week, Paris Fashion Week. We got invited to the World Fashion Week in Malaysia. I've showcased at 3 times in South Korea, in Seoul, as the designer to represent India. And we recently showcased at the Dubai Fashion Week, and this is my 2nd time in Colombo.
Amazing. That's just a little pill of all what you have done.
Yes.
That's remarkable. I'm going to introduce you to some food here.
Wow.
They serve amazing food. I'm not a big fan of beetroot until I walked in here.
Okay.
And I was like, my God, they made beetroot sexy.
Oh yes, they
It's
did.
literally,
That
it
looks
was-
really nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
And let's say cheers to new beginnings, a new
Cheers.
friendship.
Cheers.
There you go.
By the way, you are the best thing to happen to me in Sri Lanka. This trip is dedicated to you.
Hold on, people. Just make sure that we record that word and frame that word. Charit, please make sure that it's just put large as life. Thank you. And you are the best thing that happened to me from India.
Are you sure? Nobody else is watching?
I'm sure there are a few. But this is just the start to a career. There's so much that we need to talk about what brings her here and what she showcased and so much more. Do stick around. I think we're getting to a break, right? Nobody is paying attention. Are we getting to a break? No, we are not. Oh, really? See, they don't even tell me anymore. If you do remember, we had a person called Rian George on the show. He's an influencer from India. He's also here disturbing the set. So that's what's happening. So your connection to Sri Lanka started off when? When did you ever think that Sri Lankans will love your work? Did you ever want to bring your designs here?
So I got invited for the Colombo Fashion Week just before COVID,
Right.
their last season. And I thought we received such a beautiful, warm welcome. I was showing a resort wear collection specifically for that show, and I did feel like we struck a chord with the people here. So this time when we were invited for this bridal showcase, I said, why not showcase a line of our most opulent and most glamorous couture line that we do. And of course, a lot of brides and grooms from Sri Lanka are now traveling to India to do wedding clothes.
Yes.
So this would also showcase to the country the versatility of the label Nivedita and everything that we can do with it.
Yeah.
And how I'm looking forward to sort of amalgamate both the cultures and eventually have a pop-up here, set up, you know, some sort of a base where we could build this relationship further.
And also, I think our cultures are so interconnected.
They are.
And it's just a matter of celebrating both. And I think that's the only way we can, you know, take our fashion also to the world.
Absolutely.
We have so much to talk right now. Apparently, it's break. I don't know why I couldn't just go into it before. We'll come back after we indulge our starters. We'll see you with the mains. Welcome back to the show. We are talking to Nivedita all the way from India, and we are checking out Fire Beach today. The sun is setting and super excited to dine in and see what they have for us as our mains. Let's speak about, you have such a huge brand backing you with your work, and they've recognized your work, Warner Brothers. I know Warner Brothers. They don't know me. So why don't you tell me a little bit about this collaboration?
So Warner Brothers and me were talking for the last 3-4 years, and the vision of the brand Nivedita is to dress people up to be the best version of themselves. And I'm personally very superhero inspired. I want to do everything that Spider-Man does. And I want to do everything that Batman does and Superman does and Wonder Woman does.
Yeah, true.
So so even the signature of the label is very very detailed pattern making, quilting, a lot of pleating.
Right.
So when you wear a Nivedita garment, you automatically start feeling like the best version of yourself.
Yeah, right.
You can't be like sloppy and you know, you automatically feel like you're at your best. So I think that really got their attention. And then I spoke to the creative teams at Warner, and they actually picked up the conversation post-COVID, and now they've appointed me as their designer for India for their couture, preth and accessory lines.
Wow, that's amazing.
So,
so what do you do, like when you say for India, if you're using Warner Brothers, so do you take movie inspiration? Is that how it works?
So you take inspiration from an IP or a character. So this year we've started work with the Wonder Woman IP, since it's her 80th year. You know, she's been admitted to the Hall of Fame. It's her 80th anniversary. So Wonder Woman is the superhero that I'm working with. And I think it's amazing because we're designing accessories and belts and cufflinks and you know, outfits and an athleisure line.
And this is not like just picking up, like looking at her costume and just taking things and just plugging it on you, but it's just being inspired and finding the creativity out of it.
Absolutely. In fact, my couture collection, which I launched in India, in Mumbai and at the Dubai Fashion Week, was inspired by Themyscira, and I'm an architecturally inspired designer because I bring together life and geometry, science and art together to make fashion relevant, to make it add value to human life. So the whole collection was inspired by the architecture and the ethos of Themyscira, how the Amazonian warriors stood with each other as a single tribe in sisterhood, how each one of them is a spectacular warrior. Like, it's not just Wonder Woman, but every single woman on that island was Wonder Woman in her own right. And that's what all of us stand for today, where we support each other, men and women, it doesn't matter, but you form a tribe together that is strong, that is secure, that stands for truth, and that stands for justice and equality. And I feel like that is the ethos that I've imbibed into the collection.
That's amazing. They always say, fashion is a platform to connect with people globally. And it's amazing. Like, I would have not known you in person like 48 hours ago, but I'm having this conversation with you today. How important it is for us to develop our fashion roots in our country?
I feel like fashion has to be something that comes from a lot of authenticity. Creativity is an expression that I feel comes from emotion of how you're feeling, when you translate it into a garment, when you feel like, fashion is you speaking about your own personality. When you step out there, you in your clothes and your personality step out before you can have a conversation.
That is true.
And I do feel like in any culture, authenticity and relevance to how we're evolving is very important. We all have cultural heritage roots which we admire, we really go back to, but we also are an evolving community.
True.
And I feel to get that heritage and to make it relevant for today is the only way to also sustain that heritage and to make it relevant for every generation that's wearing it, generation after generation.
That is true. Because everyone is now talking about responsible fashion. Fashion that really does look into the future, keeping the environment safe.
Yes.
What is your take on it? Because there was a time when, fashion could pollute everything.
Absolutely.
And now things have changed so much.
So I have to tell you, Danu, there was, when I used to speak at green fashion conferences, say 6-7 years ago, we used to say that, 4 generations later, the pollution that is happening due to the dyeing, due to the textile, due to the manufacturing units, due to fast fashion, is going to affect our future generations, right? Like 4 generations hence. Then until 4 years ago, we started talking about how it's going to affect the next generation. Believe me, last year we've been talking about how landfills are reaching groundwater with toxicity as we speak today. So I feel like sustainability is the only way forward. In fact, we've already gotten so many sustainable processes, and sustainability is not a product, it's a process, right? So I'm launching an athleisure line, which is completely traceable, blockchain traceable, where a consumer gets to see how many carbon credits they're using, who made their clothes, what processes did it go through, whether the fabric is responsible, whether it's either organic or whether the farmer was paid well, or whether it's recycled, or whether how much it's going to pollute the earth.
And also how long can you use it for? Because
exactly.
That's another factor.
Exactly. So how long can you use it for? How emotionally attached you are to that garment, how versatile can it be?
True.
So you can use it in different ways.
Yeah.
How is it retailed? Is it retailed responsibly? And I do feel like, fashion designers and brands at one end, but consumers are becoming so aware now.
True.
And you said it, right? Like you're looking for brands that you can connect to, which support the crafts.
Correct.
And, support responsible behavior and responsible consumption. So it's a time that's very, very exciting.
Amazing. That's brilliant. We're going to get into a break. We'll see you on the other side. We're going to be speaking about some of the fun things that she has done in the world of fashion. She comes from India, and we have so many stars there. I'm sure she would have dressed a few. Let's speak on those when we do come back. Do stick around. It's Danu on Time. Welcome back to the show. The sun has set. We so tried. They just don't even wait.
Yeah, they
so
should.
Annoying, yeah. Just
if a lot
trying.
of people are wishing on it, it should wait.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's terrible. Anyway, wanted to speak to you about, okay, now I want all the goss. You work with Bollywood. You work with people who work in Bollywood. You get to measure them. How are they down there? Sorry, how are they in general? Are they nice people?
They're very nice people, and they're very normal people.
Who have you worked with that you really like?
They just work very, very hard to keep themselves fit.
I know, just like me. It's not easy to cover
Just like
all
the
of this.
both of us.
Yeah. So who do you love working with?
So I think they're all really, really sweet people. And no, honestly,
Alright, okay.
honestly. So I feel like I've really enjoyed working with Jacqueline, with Vivek. Um, we recently did some stuff for Mizan. He's a new Bollywood face,
Right.
and he's a darling. And that was a lot of fun working with him on the last time. We
Yeah.
worked with singers. We worked with a lot of people. Like Akshay, we've done a movie with Akshay. We've dressed him up for the GQ cover. So it's been a long time, and
Right.
we've dressed up lots of people. But I do feel like what's amazing about them, that the readiness to experiment
True.
and to leave the vision in the hand of the designer who they trust, and then to let us do our magic, right? To
That
let
is
me
true.
do my magic.
And
I
that's the
feel
most important thing.
it is.
And it's very like, it's a dishonor when you bring a designer who is recognized and who is celebrated, and eventually be like, no, I don't like that, no, I don't like this, don't put that, don't put this.
No,
And
but
you're
I
just
feel
like,
your experience speaks for yourself, and
Yeah.
I feel like once they've experienced what you can do for them,
Yeah.
I think they're very, very trusting with what they can do. So it's been a fun space, and I think I relate to them more as humans and friends
Than a
and lesser
designer, yeah.
as Bollywood personalities. So it's always been me being very truthful about how they look and what they should wear and how I should style them, and which is I think what they sort of bank on me for.
Right, that's amazing. Now we know you as a brand, we know you as a designer. Let's come to know you as a person.
Okay, that's a dangerous one.
No, because it's all about food. Can you cook?
If I'm in love.
You can cook when you're in love.
Yes.
You know that I can lose weight when I'm in love?
Same.
Clearly, I've
Same,
been
same.
away from love so long. I've just piled on.
Same.
Yeah, there you go. So you can cook
No
when
wonder
you're in
we
love.
liked each other.
I know. But in terms of this industry, there's a lot of cutting, clawing. It's a cutthroat business, and it's so much of talent, and especially in India, it's every nook and corner has somebody thriving to do something better. How do you survive? How do you keep your place? And how do you stay positive when people throw mud at you?
So I feel like I'm so busy trying to up my own game that I don't have the time to breathe.
Yeah.
But honestly, I do feel like everybody's now realized that there is a space, a niche market, a niche client for each one of us who's out there. And instead of spending energy in, looking at what the others are doing or kind of seeing what should not be done or should be done, it's really, really nice to hone your own skills. And I feel like I've been that person who's been very secure about my craft and my talent, and I've always worked upon sort of doing better the next day than I did yesterday. So every challenge that has come to me, whether it's from a client, whether it's from a project, whether it's from a difficult year like COVID, has taught me agility. It's taught me how to make the most of that situation and get out of it. Like COVID taught us how to become more process and more technology driven. How to maintain agility by developing, for example, a new certified, very, very sort of foolproof, technically advanced mask. Not just, make a product, but actually do products that add value to human life.
Yeah.
So I feel like I've been supported by a fantastic team. We're at over 200 craftsmen today with 2 beautiful stores, and that is just enough to keep you busy and driven.
And also to wake up every morning to do new things, and that inspiration is there.
And help, right? You're never
Yeah.
going to become a lesser person by sharing knowledge or helping people or just exchange of ideas. I feel it only makes you thrive. It only gets you better ideas, and it only makes you more inspired to spend inspirational time with your peers.
That's amazing.
And I'm truly hoping that everybody, in this space, and I think the last 2 years has kind of done that for us as well. But I feel like everybody is over their insecurities and is out there and wants to be a stronger tribe together.
Fine. One final question. If someone could design your bridle, who would it be?
It definitely has to be someone else because I'm very bad at dressing myself up.
So who would it be? Who would you pick?
I would pick somebody that loves me, like has
Oh,
love for me.
Not like the big brands.
No, I think to have somebody who's very detailed about their hand craftsmanship, understands my body type, and I can be a very difficult client.
No, by that time you'll be thin.
Oh, by
You'll be
that time
super
I'll be thin.
You'll be like,
Yeah.
you'll be like a catwalk.
Thanks for calling
like,
me fat on national television.
No, I just picked it out of what you said.
Yes, I will be thin. In my
No,
at
you'll
my
be
wedding,
thinner.
you'd probably be thin as well.
Yeah. Thanks to what you're going to provide me in India. All right. Well,
Okay.
well, I'm sure it's just going to be a wonderful journey for you. I'm
Thank
so
you.
happy I met you.
Thank you.
I'm so happy we found a connection for us
Absolutely.
to laugh and have fun and be
Yes.
ourselves amongst each
Absolutely.
other. You can follow her work on Facebook, on Instagram, and be inspired. And if you want to get something from a person who brings out personality and not just great work, well, it's her. Well, we'll see you with another cool episode to Danu on Fire. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
And we will see you soon. Keep smiling. It's a wrap.